Hello beautiful people of YouTube, and welcome to another exciting tutorial on VBA Excel. If you're a big fan of copy pasting stuff, then this video is for you. Stick around to find out. Without further ado, let's jump to our Excel file and look at our example. In our example file, we have an XLOOKUP formula in unit price column, which is picking up the value for the unit price from the second tab, which is named prices. Let's say we want to paste it till the end or the last row. Let me run my macro and boom, all done. Now let me remove this and let's do it in our normal way. So we copy the cell, select the area till the last and paste it. What I normally do is copy the formula, go to the next cell, control down arrow to move to the last cell, come back up, and then we do Alt HVF to paste our formulas. Now compare our macro with these bunch of steps for a simple task. So let me clear the formula except for the first cell. Now I'm going to filter on electronic accessories from product line. Let me filter it. For this case, we just want formula pasted to visible filtered rows. So we keep our cell with formula selected and run our macro. So let me run my macro. So the relevant macro is this one that says paste formula visible. Let me clear the filter and boom. You can see the formula has been only pasted in rows which has electronic accessories as their product line. So let me remove this formula and now do it in normal way. So remove the formulas, filter on electronic accessories, copy the cell with formula, move down, come back up, select the visible empty rows and then press Alt : to select the visible rows, and then we press Alt HVF to paste the formula. So let me clear the filter. You do that by pressing Alt and then A and then C to clear the filter, and you see we have the same result, only with a lot of extra redundant steps. Now that you can appreciate what we have achieved here with VBA, let's jump to VBA and smash this code. So the file I have is already in XLSM format. You can either save this in XLSM format or you can save your macro in personal macro workbook. Alright, so let's move on to the Visual Basic screen. I already have a blank module created, that is paste last row. You can insert a module simply by going to insert and then module, making sure that you have either your file selected here, or if you want to save in personal macro workbook, then you need to have personal macro workbook selected. Double click on your module and now you can write your code here. So let's start writing our code. We start any code with sub, so let's call it paste last row. As soon as you press enter, it will add the empty round parentheses and sub as well. So the very first thing we need to figure out is our last row. Assuming our data starts from cell A1 and there are no blank rows, we can just move from A1 to the end and then store that row. So something similar that we do in Excel when we select any cell and then press Control down. This is the same thing that we need to simulate in VBA. So let's declare a new variable. Let's call it LR for last row, and we can just use an integer to save it. If you have a lot of rows like 50,000-60,000, then you will need to save this as double instead of integer, as integer only has a limited number of numeric values it can hold. Alright, so now let's put our variable LR equals to range A1. So we'll select cell A1 like we normally do in Excel. Then we move to the end, Excel down, and then we just store the row for it using dot row. Test it and we can see what variable is stored. You can do that by pressing F8, that steps into the code, and you can see LR has 13 stored in it. You can also see it in locals window, or if you hover over the variable, you can also see the value for it. And if we look at our Excel file, we have 13 as the last row, which is correct. Next, we need to simulate the copy behavior. We do that by selection.copy. This copies whatever is selected in active cell. So let's do that. We type selection.copy, and if we test this right now, you can see whatever cell was selected. Now you have those dotted lines around it, which means that this is copied right now to the clipboard. Now we need to select the area till the last row or remaining rows and then select visible rows. So I'm just going to clean this up a bit. Actually, I'm just gonna hide this. Okay, it's much easier now. Right, so what we need to do is we need to copy this and then we need to paste this in all of this. Next, we need to simulate the copy behavior. We do that by selection.copy. So let's type it up, selection.copy. And if we press F8 to step through the code, as soon as I run through the code, I can see that the cell has been copied. I can tell it by the dotted lines around it. Next thing we need to do is we need to select till the last row and then we select the visible rows and then we paste the formula. We can use range combined with cells to achieve this task. Range accepts start and end point, while cells accept row and column as integer. So let's create our sample syntax before filling it. So we have range accepts cell 1, cell 2, so basically starting point and ending point, and the cells accept a row index and a column index. So basically what we can do is we can do it like this. So we give cells as starting point and cells as ending point, and then we do dot select, and now we just fill in the values. So our starting point is active cell, so we say active cell dot row. To access the row for it, we just type row, and our active column will be active cell dot column. So let's do that as well. I'm just gonna move this bit here, active cell dot column. You can move to new line by typing a space and underscore. Okay, this is our starting point. So basically active cell row, active cell column. So whatever cell is selected, this whole block represents F2 right now. Now we give the ending position. Our last row is saved in LR, so let's give it LR for row, and for column we have the same column as before, so we'll just copy and paste this here. Now let's test it, and you can see it selects from here till the last row. Next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we only select visible rows. For that we can use special cells, so let's add the line for it. So we do selection dot special cells, and here we have different options to select from. We will use Excel type visible, and then we do select again. Now let's do a filter on electronic accessories and test our code to see if it selects the visible rows. And you can see the dotted lines here, that means that it has selected the visible rows. Now the last thing we need to add is the paste option. To paste what we copied, we can use paste special and then Excel paste formulas. So let's add it here, selection dot paste special, and here we have a bunch of parameters. I'm just gonna copy and paste this here and explain a bit. So we have paste equals Excel paste formula. So basically you want to paste formulas. If you want to paste these as values, you can just change this formulas to values. Skip blanks, false, transpose equals false. You can ignore these. These can be removed as well. So last thing we will add is application dot cut copy mode equals false, which works to clear the copied value. Now all is good. Let's run our code. Let's do it one by one. So I have the formula selected. Make sure that before you run the macro, you have the selected value that you want filled to the last row and the visible rows. So first step, we have the value copied. This selects to the last row. This selects the visible rows. You can see by the white line here. This pastes the values, and you can see this is still copied and you still have those dotted lines around it. As soon as I run this line, you can see that the copied value has been removed and cleared. Let me clear the filter, and you can see we have our values only in the electronics column. And Shazam, we have our correct data pasted in rows. That's it for this video. I hope you had as much fun watching as I did creating it. Till next time, happy learning.